Welcome to the 6 things you probably missed in Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. Number 6. So you know there's a death minigame in Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, and it's like the only one in this game, but it's very important that you actually complete this game and get to the ending, so that way you get the second star and, get the secret ending so you can get to the private room and all that other stuff. But if you actually want to practice so you can know how to get all the cupcakes without having to try to kill yourself constantly by Foxy or anything, then you can go ahead to extras, and on the bottom left corner, if you click there, you can instantly go and play the minigame. And I don't know if you can actually get the secret ending to where you bring the ice cream to the very front, because I try to beat this by just clicking that little minigame icon in the corner of the extras menu, and nothing happens. So I think you have to legitimately get it in the game, but if you want to practice it so you get it right next time and you don't screw up, you can just go to the extras, click on the corner, and you should be able to play it. Number 5. So if you beat Sister Location and you actually got the real ending of the game, which is the first ending where you get scooped, well, you can actually see the scoop in action, and most people don't actually look down when they're in the room on night 4, when you're actually in the animatronic and you see Ballora actually get, burst into flames or something like that. Well, if you look down, instead of just looking through the eye, you can see the scooper in action scooping, Ballora, and basically, it scoops the inside of you, but when you actually die by it in the real ending, it's only one hit because you're a human, and obviously people think, oh, you're an animatronic, but you're not an animatronic, you're a human, because you hear like the guts and you see the red screen, and it's just one fail swoop. But when Ballora gets scooped, it takes like 3 times. The first one she gets hit, the second one she gets hit, the third one she gets screwed, and that's when you got to do your thing and try to survive. And this part on night 4 was so frustrating. This part took me an hour and a half to do. I'm not doing this again, but yeah, if you look down you can see the scooper in action. Most people don't see that. Number 4. So in Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, when you go into the first vent, into the first room, you look up top and then you see this mask, and if you know about the Ennard animatronic, then you know what this is about. This headpiece right here is actually here early on in the game, but on night 5, when you go into this room, you see that it's gone. Now, I'm gonna get onto this later and I'm gonna describe some things, but it's just a small thing that this mask is actually gone. Now, I don't know how Ennard was able to get this mask, but somehow this mask is gone for some reason, and I'll get to that in the next part. Number 3. So for those of you who have beaten Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, you notice that on night 5, you have to crawl into the maintenance room so you can repair the baby animatronic. Well, you have to crawl through Funtime Foxy, and you have to be careful and get through her. But there's a noticeable difference there, and you don't hear anything. This is because Funtime Foxy and all the other animatronics have already been taken to the scooping room and scooped up, and you just see empty endoskeletons or the empty animatronic suits just lying on the floor. Now, when you actually do maintenance on the baby animatronic, she tells you to do various steps, and you have to enter in code to a keypad and then grab this little thing or arm, and then you have to push this green button because she tells you to send her to the scooping room. Now, before you actually push that green button, if you look on the sides of the baby animatronic, you can see these wires kind of dangling left and right. Now, if you don't know about this, behind that baby animatronic is another animatronic pretending to be baby. Now, if you actually push the green button and you send that baby animatronic to the scooping room, before you push S, because baby tells you to go back and go into the scooping room, she is actually right there behind, that empty suit. So when you push the green button and you look up, you can vaguely see it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm gonna try to brighten up the image for you guys. You can see these eyes. It's very hard to tell, but you can see these eyes and they're just watching you. That's basically the Ennard animatronic waiting for you to turn back. And then when you do turn back, the baby voice comes on, and then she tells you that Ballora is there trying to kill you or something like that. But if you push space, the animatronic scares you, and you think that's Ballora. A lot of people think that's Ballora because baby tells you that that's Ballora, not in her suit. But Ballora's already been scooped because you can see her body in the scooping room. Now, this animatronic that jump scares you is not Ballora. That is Ennard without the mask. I don't know why that jump scare doesn't have the mask on it, but I can tell that this is Ennard because if you look into the extras and you look at the Ennard preview, on the left side on the shoulder, you can see these wires. And if you look at the head, you can see a dangling eye on the right. Now, if you look at this jump scare, I'm going to brighten it up and actually go to the very first frame. You see her jump out at you, or Ennard, or whatever it is. You can see the details on Ennard in the extras preview, and you can see those same details on that jump scare in front of you, it's just without the Ennard mask. But when you go into the scooping room, you can see that the Ennard has the mask on that is gone from the room. And if you go into the private room, you can see the mask on it too. So maybe this Ennard animatronic put it on at the last second, but maybe Scott didn't have the mask on it in that one dark room just to confuse us for some reason. I'm not sure if I'm confusing you guys, but this animatronic is not Ballora. Ballora is already dead. So yeah, this is one small detail, or a large detail, that nobody really noticed. Number 2. This next one is going to be about the private room. Now, a lot of people know about this, but you'd be surprised how many people don't know about this. But this leads to something huge about number 1, but I'm just going to tell you that this is number 2 of a secret that nobody really notices. Now, when you go into the private room, you find yourself that you have to survive until 6 a.m. There's one animatronic, and Ennard is trying to get you, and you have to conserve power, all that other stuff, just like Five Nights at Freddy's 1. But you notice that there's 3 televisions in front of you, and these televisions, they're full of static, but there is a keypad to the right side of those televisions, but, you know, left side, your perspective, I guess. There is a keypad, and if you just picture the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 going from left to right, if you enter the code 1983, that is 1983, you get like a little confirmation sound, and you see these little, you know, screens come up, and they're actually screens from the Five Nights at Freddy's 4 game, and Five Nights at Freddy's 4, I believe, took place in 1983. So a lot of people are saying how these cameras have been recording the moment since 1983, or they are recording, you know, the moments now, and this game, Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, is taking place in 1983. Now, number 1 is going to blow your mind because this actually has something to do with the cameras, and I'm going to get to that right now. Number 1. So this next thing I'm about to talk about is very controversial, and a lot of people might have their own opinions or theories about this topic. But essentially what I'm trying to get at is that Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location is an underground base because you're taking an elevator and you're going way deep underground. But remember the little passcode I told you to enter, that if you enter 1983, the TVs come on and you see these cameras recording the areas of Five Nights at Freddy's 4? Well, I decided to look around, and these areas that you see on the TV are being recorded live. That means Sister Location is taking place in 1983, and this takes place during Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Now, I'm going to go way deep into this. I'm going to try not to confuse you guys, but there is a section, I think on night 2, where you have to crawl through Ballora Gallery, and then you have to get to the breaker room, and then you see Funtime Freddy, and you have to open up this pad, and then you have to repair these different rooms. Now, when you open up this pad, there is a whole map of the area. Now, here's a real map of the area. You can crawl through, you can, you know, go right, you can go left, you can go into the private room, you can go into the scooping room, you can go into the breaker room, all this other stuff. But when you pull up this map, when you pick up the pad to repair these rooms, you see these grayed out areas, and you do not access these areas. I've beaten Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. I got all 3 stars and everything, but you do not access these rooms. But you notice that all these grayed out areas, they have these connecting lines to rooms that you can go to. So what I'm thinking is that there's other areas we can't access or something like that, but the maps are laid out for us. You know, we can see them, but we can't access them. So I decided to do a little bit more research, and I found one extraordinary thing, and I did not come across this until like I actually started to do research. These grayed out areas are map layouts from the Five Nights at Freddy's 4 game.
Say what?
Yeah, I know, it kind of blew my mind, but when I actually looked through these, it made a lot more sense. So I'm going to bring up these 3 different images, and all these have to do with the maps from Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and there's a lot of different controversial. I might, you know, make a little bit of a theory at the end of this video, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the map layouts. So remember in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, you play as a little kid, you know, you got the bed behind you, you got to check the closet, you got to check the 2 doors, and there's hallways, and then, you know, the animatronics can come out and scare you. Well, let's go ahead and look up to this area in the private room. This is the private room area. You have to protect yourself from Ennard and survive till 6 a.m. Well, if you look at the back of the room, you see that there is this little walkway, I guess, or the stairs, I don't know, but it leads to this little room, and it's like a layout of the same layout you see in Five Nights at Freddy's 4 when you're in the main room playing the main game. You see this little white little square, that is you. You have the 2 halls on the left and the right, and then they loop around, and you see like these gray little dots everywhere, and these are probably the animatronics. Like on the left side, you got, I think, Bonnie. On the right side, you got Chica, and the little gray square right in front of the white square is the Foxy animatronic that you have to watch for, you know, when you open the closet and all that. That is Foxy. And this is an entire room that you see in Five Nights at Freddy's 4. You know how in Sister Location, you're going in an elevator and you're going way down? Well, this elevator probably leads to the surface of the earth because this is an underground facility. And when you take the elevator up, you're actually going probably, I don't know, but you're probably going into your own house if you do have a house. Because in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, you play as a little kid and you're in a house, you know? You can see the windows when you open the doors. You have the doors, you have a bed, so you're in a house, but there's an underground base. And you are playing in the underground base. Let me go ahead and show you guys a different room that we cannot access. Now on night 2, when you crawl through Ballora Gallery to the breaker room, you notice that on this map, there is another little walkway that leads to another room that we cannot have access to. Now I noticed that this little layout is very similar to the Plush Trap minigame that you play in Five Nights at Freddy's 4. You know when you're at the end of the hallway and then you see the Plush Trap animatronic on the chair? This is the same little camera that we see on the little TV screen when we're in the private room. We're actually watching this hallway, and you can tell that this is the hallway because on the Sister Location map, when you actually pick up the map and you see, you know, all the layout and stuff, you see that little white dot, that's you. At the other end, the gray dot is the Plush Trap, and you have 4 other rooms, and in this level on Five Nights at Freddy's 4, you have those same 4 rooms that you see on this map. Now, you do see those gray squares in those rooms, so are there multiple Plush Traps? Are there like 5 of them in this one room and you have to try to catch one of them? I honestly have no idea, but this is another room that shows proof that this walkway or this little vent hole or whatever this little skinny area is leading to these other rooms. But let's go ahead and look at a different room that's on the top left corner of this Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location map. Now, if you look at this, this is actually a map layout of the Five Nights at Freddy's 4 mini games that you play. I think they're mini games, but all I know is that when you progress through the game, you play as this little kid and you're in your room and then you have to, you know, navigate through your house. Now you can look at this map and you can look at the screenshot of the Five Nights at Freddy's 4 mini games. You can see the sidewalk has a little loop just like the map. You see that white dot, that is your room. You also have like the little squares, those are the other rooms you can go to. And there's another room on the right that shows 2 gray dots. I don't know what these gray dots are. Like I know they're animatronics, I think, but who knows? Maybe they could be the other animatronics like the Nightmare Fredbear or the Golden Freddy. I have no idea. But there's a little vent hole or stairs or something that leads to the other room where Baby is. Or this is like Baby Galleria or something like that. I forgot the name of the room. But that big room at the top in Sister Location is a room that Baby is in, but you can't access it in the real game. But there's a vent hole or a little walkway or stairs that leads to that other half of the Five Nights at Freddy's 4 mini games that you play. So essentially what I'm trying to get at is that Sister Location is an underground facility. Like you go underground in an elevator, you log in on a pad, and then, you know, you do your work as if you're a normal employee. But a lot of people don't know the main character that we're playing as. I know that there's a beginning cutscene where you're playing as like William Afton, and then people are talking to you saying that you created this baby animatronic, and I don't know too much about it. I know you like had a daughter, and then the daughter wanted to play with your baby animatronic, but then the baby went up to the little girl, your daughter, and then ate her or something like that, and then you're trying to go underground to try to find your daughter or something like that. Maybe you're doing it for that reason, or maybe you're the purple guy, and I have no idea. There's so much I have to look into. Like, there's so many ideas and theories that I have, but this game is insane. Like, the biggest thing that threw me off were the little grayed out areas in that map where you're in the breaker room doing that little mini game. All those grayed out areas have something to do with Five Nights at Freddy's. And like I said, Sister Location is an underground facility, and all these other areas that are grayed out are similar to the ones in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and Five Nights at Freddy's 4 was taking place in a house, and you were a kid having nightmares in your own house. So I don't know if this is a fake house, and then, you know, you're pretending that it's your real house, but, you know, you're just disguising in the real world, and you're kidnapping kids, and then you're researching them because you're crazy, or it's something else. I honestly have no idea, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I took a lot of time in making this video, so if you can do me a favor and like the video, share it with your friends, all that other stuff. But yeah, this is all I really have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Like, share, subscribe, all of that. Check out my second channel. Watch my videos. Self-advertisement.